All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachakwadash for the spirit to do this lesson. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the men of the Lord that are preaching, teaching, prophesying in sincerity and in truth. Shalom. And I came across this article that just came out. Somebody had texted to me actually. And when they texted to me, I didn't believe it until I looked at this article, and sure enough, there's talks of this guy Joe Biden hiring a reality czar. Now, a czar, and traditionally in the American government, it's basically like he's an unelected official that's appointed by the president of the United States usually, and he's usually over some type of task force. It's not a department; it's more of just like a task force, and it's usually cross departmental, meaning he takes people from from Homeland, from Treasury, from from the Interior, from the FDA, wherever in the federal government, and he makes uh, basically a new temporary group that doesn't have a secretary at the head, and he basically enacts policy or enforces policy. So let's read a little bit of this because this is crazy, man. And now you know what's coming. You can see the title says how the Biden administration can help solve our reality crisis. Because see, Esau, he is in denial of reality, and when these chariots start showing up and all hell starts breaking loose, he's really going to be in denial. It says last month, millions of Americans watched as President Biden took the oath of office, and in high-minded inaugural address called for a new era of American unity. But plenty of other Americans weren't paying attention to Biden's speech. They were too busy watching YouTube videos, alleging that the inauguration was a pre-recorded hoax that had been filmed on a Hollywood soundstage. Now, this is going into basically conspiracy theories. You see where this is going. They really want YouTube shut down, and it's I believe it when they said was it one of the Rockefellers said the internet was one of the worst things we came up with, or maybe it was a Rothschild. I don't remember. But that's very true because this word is going out. The truth is getting out, even if it's not from an Israelite. You got Edomites exposing truths. You have heathen having visions and dreams that are putting this man on blast. And ultimately, it came out with I think Pizzagate was one of them. This Q group, which you really can't even really say anymore without getting censored or shut down. Um, you see where this is heading. They're gonna lump everybody into this group, and ultimately they're gonna start labeling you as terrorists. That's where this thing is going. That's where it starts. They start demonizing you, in the media. They start painting a picture because once they've demonized you, once they've put it on repeat over and over and over again, these men are a problem to society and they need to be dealt with. Then the next thing that happens is bloodshed, is violence. I'm gonna get that in Sirach. I believe it's Sirach 24, if I'm not mistaken. Bear with me. It might be 22. Yeah, this is Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 22, verse 24. It says, "As vapor and smoke of a furnace go up before the fire, so reviling before blood." All right, so reviling goes into uh, strong, harsh speech. Basically demonization, even slander. All right, so when a guy starts slandering you and he starts putting uh, false accusations on you, they're getting ready to do something violent. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this is ultimately. We can skip down on some of this, It says hoaxes, lies, and collective delusions aren't new, but the extent to which millions of Americans have embraced them, maybe. Well, what's wrong with that? If you got freedom of speech, you don't have freedom of thoughts. See, they have a problem with people not listening to what they say. That's the real issue. That people aren't paying attention to the narrative as much as they once did, and movements are starting to catch on. You know, like QAnon or whatever. I ain't supposed to say it, but QAnon, they uh they got too much traction. They got too much popularity. A lot of people start believing it. You got this Wall Street bets. This Reddit started disrupting the stock market, which I believe if that continues, Esau is going to use that to bring in his new money system. Um, Speaking as a man there, but you know, you have all of these things that Esau is starting to lose control. You know, and the scriptures speak about the tongue falling upon themselves, their tongue. So it says, see me go down. You can read this whole article, but I'm gonna get to the main point of it. It says here, appoint a reality czar. So a czar, we went over what a czar is. You know, it's basically he's the head honcho over a task force to enforce a certain rule or a certain outcome in the federal government and the executive branch. All right, so they're talking about appointing a reality czar. So let's read what this says. It says several experts I spoke with, so a lot of Edomites basically, uh, recommend that the Biden administration put together a cross-agency task force to tackle disinformation and domestic extremism. Now, who are they going to lump into that group? You know, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, we gotta put this out there. You know, we have to warn the body because ultimately, man, it's coming. Now is the time to show up your faith. You know, to pray, to fast. I'm gonna try to do a fast this week myself, man, just to keep my spirit in check because we're in those times. All right. It says, which would be led by something like a reality czar. So the New York Times is basically asking the Biden administration to do this. And you know what? I wouldn't be shocked if they went ahead and do it because what they'll do is they'll drop articles like this and see the response that it gets. And it's getting a pretty negative response right now, from what I hear. Um, but they'll drop little things like this to see how they check approval ratings and things like that and see how the population takes it before they try to go there. But ultimately, he's planning to go there, you know, and we know this, you know. This is Psalms 83 and 2. It says, "For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head." All right, and this is talking about Esau, Edom. All right, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones, and that's what a reality czar is we're gonna dictate what's right and what's wrong. There ain't gonna be no pushback if they don't fall into this bucket. What's gonna happen? You have an agency of the federal government that can put hands on you if need be. You know, for having a difference of opinion. Now, ain't that something? Now, this country was based on, or supposedly based on, uh, you know, freedom of speech. You know, revolting against tyranny, pursuit of happiness, love and liberty, and all of this bullshit that they made up. But look at what it's devolved into now. If you misgender somebody, you could be looking at jail time in the near future. All right. If they say that they're a man, regardless of what they was born as, and you don't address them as such, that could be a sentence. It's already happened in Canada. All right. And now that this guy Biden is in office, you can expect very similar things to come down the pipeline just like that. So this shows you that we're most definitely in the last time. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai has got to be on his way back right now. And he's got to be pissed the hell off, man. And you should be pissed too, man. As the scriptures, as it's written, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. This is the main point, Psalms 83 and 4. It says, they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation. And ultimately, that's what this is. See, when this truth comes out and they got all over YouTube, We're starting to become a nation again. Those dry bones, when you read Ezekiel 37, coming back together again. YouTube played a major part in that, man. This truth going out, and brothers get edified every day. Matter of fact, there's so many videos out there just from Great Millstone alone. I mean, you could spend the next year straight watching videos. Just it's that many brothers doing the work and doing work consistently. Brothers put out videos daily, you know, and that's that's the fear that Esau Edom has. So as it says here, Psalms 83:4 again, it says, "They have said, 'Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.'" Now that does go back to the slave trade when they took our language, they took our names, they beat it out of us, and they did all other manner of wickedness. They separated us, pulled us away from our families, all this nonsense. But that applies to now as well too. All right. It says, this is Job 9. I'm gonna start at 23. It says, "If the scourge slay suddenly, he will laugh at the trial of the innocent." Because Esau doesn't give a damn whether or not you're innocent. He doesn't give a damn about your rights. This is all. This is all just a show. It's something he says on the surface, but doesn't really mean it. And ultimately, he plans to destroy you. This is nothing new. You see how the Wall Street bets guys they did the same thing those elites were doing on Wall Street. But the soon as they got back at them Wall Street guys, all of a sudden we got to shut the markets down. We got to stop trading on these stocks. We got to make sure it's not allowed. Because even though he said it that you can, it's said in the law you can do it. That's how those Wall Street guys were able to do it. But when it came down to a bunch of people, millions of people doing it, he shut that thing down because he's a hypocrite. And this is how he's been ever since the beginning, man. Ever since he the Most High gave him the blessing. All right. Just like if you go back to the blessing with Esau, man, he sold that birthright like an idiot to our forefather Jacob, never intending to go through with it. See, he was going to try to go back to his father Isaac and try to make sure that Isaac still gave him the blessing. But see, the Most High put the spirit on Rebecca, all right, to get Jacob in there because she knew what occurred. She knew that Esau sold it, but see, Esau sold that birthright, never intending to actually give it over to Jacob. That's how he is. That's the demon that we're dealing with. All right, he did it to Gad. Every example of this guy, and that's how we know who he is throughout history as well too. You could just look at that behavior. All right. Verse 24 says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" All right. And who else has done this? Iconoclasm. Whose hand is the earth in right now? The wicked. All right. And you can read Job 24, the entire chapter, man. It's good. I'm gonna read just a couple verses, but this whole chapter is good and it applies to him. It says, "Why seeing," Job 24:1, it says, "Why seeing times are not hidden from the Almighty, do they that know him not see his days? Some remove the landmarks," and that's Esau. He's taken landmarks everywhere. He made the UN. He's told Palestine, "We don't recognize you as a nation." He's told Iran, "You can't have nuclear weapons." He's putting sanctions on people, undermining their. He's completely off the chain, man. He doesn't respect any landmarks, and he definitely took the entire Western Hemisphere physically. All right. So who else is it talking about? It says, "They violently take away flocks and feed thereof." Verse 3, "They drive away the ass of the fatherless. They take the widow's ox for a pledge." All right. And they've definitely got our women out here bad. They took that drug, also known as welfare and child support, and completely destroy them. These women are out of order. They think they're better than you. A lot of them will try to physically fight you, a grown man, you know. This is, and they've raised a bunch of hyper emotional degenerates, you know, and that's our women. They took Esau's bait, but that's a different topic. And Esau knew what he was doing when he did that. So it says they turned the needy out of the way. The poor of the earth hide themselves together. All right. Behold, as asses in the desert go they forth to their work, rising betimes for a prey. The wilderness yieldeth food for them and for their children. They reap every one in the cornfield, and they gather in the vintage of the wicked. All right. So Esau has ever since, you know, he's killing the buffalo, uh, you know, overrunning Gad, running down the populations of the so-called Native Americans, which are Gad and Reuben. You know, this is what it's culminated into, utter hypocrisy, and now they want to cover the whole thing up. Now you can't speak about it. You thought it was bad when they were rewriting history books of Black history of the slave trade and the school system. Well, get ready for him to completely start wiping any type of wrong speech. How they gonna categorize it? And get ready for him to completely wipe out anything that's in disagreement of the beast, and ultimately this is the image of the beast. It's forming even more so. It's appearing right before your very eyes. If you couldn't see it before, all right. And those who bow down to this is the image of the beast that we're told not to give into in Revelation. All right. So I'll cut it short there. I don't want to make it too long. I just wanted to bring that out. Hope you brothers were edified. Call Halal Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Hashem Rachak Wadash. Shalom. Wa Abad Babal.